Hi, Angela. Thanks so much for your contest. It's a really good one. I've been watching the responses and wanted to join in, so this is officially my entry. I'm going to try to answer the questions in the order, but I feel like I'll probably ramble them all together. Number one, who have you told about your surgery? So the first person, obviously, that I told was Becky, my living girlfriend, and she's really the person that I, discussed, decided, debated everything with. And then once I had decided that I was going to have it and I'd seen the surgeon and I'd started the process of getting the approval and it looked like it would probably go through, I told my mom. And I had asked her to come out for the surgery because I knew that I would need that. And she was really, really, really supportive, incredibly supportive. And I gave her, permission to tell my dad and to tell my sister. And then the third person that I told was my best friend who lives here in the city with me. So I have other really good friends outside of the city, actually. But this friend, I told her, and it's funny because I told her because I see her all the time. And honestly, to miss 2 weeks of seeing her while I was recovering and then we eat dinner together all the time and to suddenly be eating like quarter ounces of, I was just like, this is crazy that I think I can keep this like 100% to myself. And she's really into nutrition and really into the gym and goes all the time. And I didn't think she'd be critical, but I wondered if, she's coming from such a different angle in terms of how to be healthy that I worried that there would be a little bit of judgment. And actually, there wasn't at all. She was so, 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 so supportive. And one of her really good friends from her hometown had this surgery a few years ago. And she was a really big advocate for her friend then, and she was a really big advocate for me, talking to me. She has encouraged me to tell the rest of our friends here, and she kind of points out the same thing, that we do a lot of dinners together, and if suddenly you're eating half a cup of soup, people are going to notice. And the other thing she said, which I think is really true, is if in 6 months you've lost 100 pounds, people aren't stupid and they're going to put it together that, well, Kate had surgery, she was out of work and whatever for 2 weeks. Even if I don't know what that surgery's for, suddenly she's 100 pounds smaller. Who have I not told about the surgery? Everyone else. I'm electing right now not to tell my other friends here in the city. I haven't even really told my best friends who live outside the city. And at work, I obviously had to request a time off, and I told them I was having surgery, but I didn't tell them at all what kind of surgery it was. And part of that, honestly, for me, I feel like it's such a personal thing. Like, it just feels, I don't know, for me to consider gastric bypass wasn't totally a rational, okay, my BMI is 47, the odds of me losing weight, this much weight on my own are 4%. I've been trying to lose weight for 26 years on my own and have never succeeded. Like, that's all true. But a lot of my decision was that I had just resigned myself to being 300 pounds and then probably 400 pounds and then probably 500 pounds. And I was just so beaten down and tired of doing the different diets and Nutrisystem and Weight Watchers, and every time going into it thinking, okay, this time I'm really going to stick to it. It's really going to be different. And just so disgusted that I wasn't able to lose and maintain a significant weight loss. So even though it was really rational, I think, for me to go into it and have the surgery, obviously, and my surgeon thought I was an excellent candidate, and he's very, because he's thinking rationally about my health. For me, I have to admit that there was this huge smear of like embarrassment and self-disgust and self-loathing on top of it. And it felt like I couldn't talk about, like I would almost be kidding myself if I tried to say, oh, I've really weighed the options and I've decided gastric. Like I felt like I couldn't talk about it with my friends without letting that like sticky, smeary mess on top kind of get in the way of it. Um, and this is embarrassing to say, but a tiny part of me was worried that it wouldn't work. And I know that's crazy. And when I told my friend, actually, the one friend that I did tell when I told her that, she called me crazy. She's like, it works for everyone. That's why you do it. But a little bit of me, I've entered so many diets, and I know this is different, obviously, than diet, but so many times I've put everything I have into losing weight. And once or twice I've told, a coworker, oh, I'm on Weight Watchers, oh, da da da. And then I'll get, 6 months later, oh, how's it going? And I look the same, or I look 10 pounds heavier, and it's just, oh, it's I mean, I'm kind of delaying telling anyone, and I feel like if they see me, if someone comments on it and asks me, oh, to me, even if someone at work says, oh, you look smaller, thanks. If someone asks me at work, oh, you look smaller, did you have gastric bypass? Did you have weight loss surgery? You were out for 2 weeks. I mean, if I start getting those questions, obviously, maybe I'll answer them. I mean, I think I definitely will answer them truthfully if someone really point blank asks me. But hopefully at that point, I'll be 50 pounds lighter and not feeling that like huge smear of whatever that's preventing me from talking about my weight. But also for me, it's always been really personal. To me, my weight has always been, I mean, it's very obvious that I'm morbidly obese, but it's always been something that I'm working really hard to distract people from. So part of it is telling them, for some of my friends, talking to them about having gastric bypass would be the first time I've ever talked to them about my weight. And that to me it was one more stressor, and then just delay, delay, delay. Are you open about telling people about your surgery? I'd say see previous answer. How did you decide who to tell and who not to tell? Well, basically, I was trying to tell as few people as possible, which you can kind of get from my other answers too. So, I told my friend who I hang out with all the time and who I think it will really be such a support system. I told my immediate family because they deserved it, just in case I did die on the operating table, and because I knew I would need their support going through it. Are there any reasons you would not tell someone about your surgery? I think if someone asked me point blank and they were critical and they were judgy, I mean, there are a lot of people in my extended family, and part of it I'm sure is because or a good number of us are morbidly obese, that are really catty about weight and, oh, well, da-da-da, slow metabolism kind of, haha, joke. I don't know. It's really weird. And I feel like if one of them asks me point blank, I don't see them often enough where they're going to notice, oh my God, it's only been 6 months. Oh my God, it's only been a year. I mean, a lot of them I haven't already seen in a year. I might not tell them. But I think friends that I see on a more daily basis, um, I hope I get to a point where I'm confident in telling them. What are some of the rudest responses you've gotten, and how did you handle the responses? Everyone that I've told, 3 people, and then we'll say 5 because my mom obviously told my sister and my dad, but I've talked to them about it since. Everyone has been incredibly, incredibly loving, incredibly supportive, has surprised me by saying they think this is the best decision I'm making, they think this is the best way to go, they think this makes a lot of sense, and they're coming, both from a rational place and a more emotional place. So that's been a really pleasant surprise that I haven't had to convince anyone. I mean, obviously my mom was worried when she was here. My dad is worried now that I'm recovering. And it's just been so nice to not have to, at the same time that I'm, preparing myself to get better, preparing myself when I was going through surgery, not have that stressor of, trying to fake how good I felt to appease someone who thought I was making the wrong decision. I just be myself through it, say I felt like crap when I felt like crap. Now I feel better, that kind of thing. Um, but I also have to say I've only had positive responses because I've only told the people who are the closest to me and who I knew would be, even if they didn't agree with it, I knew they would be supportive of me and loving of me. So I think I will answer that question in a few more months when I start telling, nasty people at work, when they start poking around, that kind of thing. Okay, well, this is a really long video. You can tell that I really thought the questions were great. So thanks again for posting it, and here's hoping I win. Okay, bye.